with those updates. Now, the Supreme Court has today delivered a major verdict on the stray dog cases. The court has allowed authorities to carry out euthanasia of rabid and aggressive stray dogs. It upheld its earlier order on removal of stray dogs from public places and rejected petitions by animal rights groups seeking modifications. The bench stressed it cannot ignore rising cases of dog bites, especially attacks on children. In November last year, the bench had passed a slew of directions to authorities to ensure the removal of stray dogs from public places such as schools, hospitals, bus stands, railway stations and sports complexes. The court has directed the dogs must be shifted to shelters and must not be released back to the same place from where they were picked. The bench has also issued directions banning the feeding of dogs in streets except in designated feeding spots. Dr. Dipankar Seth, Zonal Secretary, Indian Veterinary Association, is joining us live. Kamna Pandey, petitioner and animal rights activist, joins us. Punita Sharma, advocate and animal rights activist, is also with us on the broadcast. Let me make a start with you first, Dr. Seth. What do you make of this Supreme Court order today?
Thank you for inviting me. This is an interim judgment. This is not a full judgment. The next date of hearing is on 7th November. So there is nothing absurd or nothing debatable in this judgment. I think it is fair enough a judgment, taking consideration of all the views. It is a long judgment of 131 pages. The court has taken consideration of all the issues and have taken the decisions. The decisions are suppose for a rabid dog. Euthanasia, rabid dog is supposed to die. If a dog is harboring the rabies virus, it is supposed to die within 2 to 14 days. Maximum dogs die far more earlier. So there is nothing to euthanize a rabid dog. But, all the points which are debatable, if you see it in a positive way, there is nothing to debate, and all the points are quite valid. Suppose if we relocate a dog from a public places like school to a better place without any cruelty, so there is nothing wrong in that. So I think we should all accept it in a positive note. That's all.
Yeah, in fact, get in Kamna Pandey as well. Kamna Pandey, a big, of course, order coming in from the Supreme Court. It's not changed its earlier order in its entirety, but still, of course, has added various, things as well that they've directed immediate intervention on. What do you make of what the Supreme Court has said today, given the recent increase in dog bite incidents as well that were cited in the hearing?
Well, there's a lot of confusion among the so-called animal lovers and haters. I would love to use your platform to clarify a lot of those confusions. Actually, the Supreme Court has factored in almost everything that we asked for. Everything. And because most people have not really gone through the judgment, because most of the people don't understand the legal language, so give it a day or two for them to understand. There is it's a beautiful order, I would say, as good as it can get. Maybe not perfect to the T, but I think we are very happy. What had we asked for, and what was all the hue and cry about? Now first to begin with, the problem exists. We are the people who first address those problems. We try to find a solution to those problems by implementing ABC, by taking care of the animals, by feeding the animals. Now, nobody is denying that the problem does not exist. The point of contention was how is the solution to the problem arrived at. That is where we were differing. Both parties were differing. We were saying ABC is the solution. Non-implementation of ABC, apathy of the governments in union territories cannot be blamed on the dogs. So that is exactly what the court has said today. Now also, we said involve us. Make us a part of it all. We will not charge you anything. We will do the work in a humane way and easier way. And that is exactly what the court has again said, that once the NGOs and the caregivers are a part of it, it is going to be a humane and constructive collaboration. What else did we ask for? We said that this blanket removal of dogs, the other party said the solution to the problem is remove all dogs, put them all in shelters. That is where we differed. We said no, sheltering all dogs en masse is not acceptable, is not feasible, is not practical. The court has said the dogs will be sterilized and put back in their place. Now there are a few more points that we had asked for, which the court has absolutely taken into account. There is a point which is the rabid dog, euthanasia of rabid dog. We must see what the court has said. The rule already said incurably ill and mortally wounded dogs can be euthanized. Now the court has exactly verbatim used the phrase. Along with that, they have said that rabid dogs also can be euthanized provided we adhere strictly to the ABC rules and PCA Act. ABC rules and PCA Act, they are very clear about what is to be done about rabid dogs. There is a proper protocol, there is a proper SOP.
Yes.
The court has said that SOP has to be followed. The rabid dog will be identified, examined by a qualified veterinary expert, and will be put in isolation. The reason why this is done, not that we want rabid dogs to be there on the street, but there are a lot of diseases that display exact same, like meningitis,
Absolutely.
like a lot of disease.
No, absolutely. Of course, on the rabid dogs front, there are very few who can, of course, argue with this logic. But a quick follow-up from you, Kamna, before I get in the others. On public places, that is what the question is, because again, the reiteration has come in on the removal of stray dogs from public places. Now, how will this be carried out? What all comes in the domain of public places is again something which would be the concern of animal rights activists.
So the earlier order, actually, it said that the dogs have to be mandatorily removed from schools, from institutions, from railway stations, bus stations, etc., and highways, right? So now what they have said is they have given the right to the institution to decide, do they want to remove the dogs? Do they not want to remove the dogs? Also, let's say there is a school. The school does not want to remove, great, no need to remove. If the school wants to remove the dogs and there is a student union for animals, some society for animals, and they are ready to take the responsibility, they have explicitly mentioned this, that if they are ready to take the responsibility of vaccination, of feeding, of sterilization, coordination and all of that, then there is no need for removal. Also, very important point is that 7 November order said that you take the dogs from the institutions to ABC center, get them sterilized first, and then you can only take them to designated shelters. Now, so long as there are no designated shelters, in any case, these dogs cannot be removed. And court has also said, there is a little space the court has given us, that we are not asking to create new shelters. We are asking to create ABC centers.
Yes. I'll come back to you. Let me bring in Punita Sharma as well at this point. Punita Sharma is also live with us. Punita Sharma, are you satisfied with this order today of the Supreme Court? And now, of course, all eyes on its implementation as well.
Somewhere I'm satisfied because they have just emphasized more on the ABC, which from the last 5 years we were not talking about, and there is a lack of system failure where they have not sterilized the dogs. All the responsibility of the sterilization feeding was done by the feeders and by the caretakers, where they are making number of the residents, people in the society are making them responsible for feeding the dogs and getting the population of the dogs in the society. But we are there to control the population of the dogs, because if feeder is not there, you can't get them sterilized, right? And today the court has directed them not to send them, as the Kamna said, that You can't send the dogs to the shelters until unless you have the perfect, with all the amenities, veterinary doctor should be there, and food and sterilization. But ABC center is not the shelter. Now the media, there is misconception and misinterpretation of the media for the Supreme Court orders. I got in the afternoon a news, some fighter news is there. I don't know from the some Punjab side, or I don't know that area. I will just find out because I have that message of the fighter. News is there. What they have written in the Hindi, कि कुत्तों को इंजेक्शन दे के मार दिया जाए. This is a misinterpretation of the media by the, how they get the news, how they get the orders.
Absolutely.
And they're misinterpreting
Yes.
the point euthanize, how to euthanize.
No, how to
As
euthanize, and also that it's only for rabid and aggressive dogs, not all stray dogs. Yes.
Rabid dogs, you can't identify with the chasing the car and barking. What the people do, because today I had an interview in the Supreme Court. Just a minute, Kamala, I just want to make them clear what is a rabid dog. So when I go and feed in the morning, I have a lactating mom. She had 2 months old puppies. And when I went yesterday, 3 days before, so their guard told me, ma'am, ये कुत्तियाँ पागल हो गई है. The word was कि कुत्तियाँ पागल हो गई है, अपने बच्चों को मार रही है. Then I just, I gave them there was some wound, some blood was coming. I talked to some of the shelter person whom I know, कि वो काट रही है. What to do now? They said कि हो सकता है heat stroke or maybe a fever, high fever. So I arranged an ambulance. I have just sent that child to the shelter, and I can't explain you how, like from last 3 days I was so disturbed. I lost that my baby, and she had the fever 107. And what they were saying that this is a rabid dog, and maar denge hum isko. And
Yes.
if I would not have replaced that dog, definitely they would have killed that baby.
Okay.
So that is, there is a brain mapping to find the rabid dog.
Okay.
You can't identify the barking or chasing the dog as a rabid dog.
Okay.
Or if
I
they-
believe another lawyer and animal rights activist, Vaibhav Mishra, is also with us. Vaibhav, as far as this incident, of course, is concerned today, the order rather by the Supreme Court, how much of a change is it to the earlier ruling? And should animal rights activists be satisfied with this order today? Also, there will have to be definitions of what is a rabid and aggressive dog because of the far-reaching consequences of what the Supreme Court has ruled today.
Thank you so much, Uday, for having me on the show. I was the advocate on record for the initial petition filed back in August, Dityaja versus MCD and others. So we had filed that after the initial order of 11th August by Justice Pardiwala. So whatever order we get now, we compare it with that order, and against that order, any order is a good order, if I may say so practically. This order, I think, encompasses, as Ms. Pandey had said, everything which almost everyone wanted. You will obviously have something left out, but I think it's a good, decent, balanced order. As much as we are an animal rights activist, we also have concern for that 75-year-old person, 85, 90-year-old person who walks on the street alone and is a bit frightened when 4 or 5 dogs gherao him or her. But this order takes care of everyone. This also, even I was concerned when public places dogs would be taken away from, specifically from colleges, hospitals, institutions. Because even during the course of argument, we had said that we are not saying that the dog should be there inside the hospital rooms or inside the institutional bedrooms. But if there's a campus area and there's some lodging facility, say for example in hospital there are residential doctors who stay in the residential faculties, and if they're taking care of dogs and if they take the responsibility of that, they should be allowed to take care of them. And it's not necessary if the dog is normal, they should not be taken away. And I'm glad Ms. Pandey had clarified that part. Even I was a bit skeptical whether that was taken care in the order or not. But I think if that part is taken, it's a decent, good order. One more part which I'm happy that has taken care of, that NHI has been given responsibility to remove the dogs from the highways. No animal lover will say that dogs should be there on the highways or state highways or national highways. You've just seen Delhi-Dehradun expressway to be opened, where in about 3 hours you can reach the other place. But we saw reels where not only dogs, deers were injured on the expressway or killed by coming under the car. So
Yes.
no animal lover would say that on highways dogs should be. So I'm happy about that part is also taken, and the rest of the part it's very well taken care of, and it's a balanced approach. And as I say, I'm repeating myself. As I compare with that initial order of 11th August, I think it's a good, decent
No,
order.
and is it,
I'm also
but
happy
is
of
it
the
a,
part
at
that
the end of the day,
High
is
Court
it an
has taken
order?
responsibility.
Is it an order, Vaibhav Mishra, that can be implemented practically as well on ground? You know, should immediate steps be taken to implement it practically? You know, sometimes orders take a while to implement. Do you believe this is a practically implement order and can be done from tomorrow itself?
See, it's a bit 130, 131 pages order. So it will take time for people to understand that. Give it a 2-3 day time gap. The in effect order ratio is for the departments and MCD authorities who were shedding away from the responsibility time and time again. In fact, the animal rights NGOs and groups themselves, and even from Delhi University, students of Marx faculty during the course of arguments had placed example how they had taken the onus on themselves, had ensured that vaccination, sterilization of dogs take place in Delhi University North Campus area. So that is the job of MCD authorities. This order takes care of that. This order also stresses upon ABC rules, which I'm very happy to see. We are talking about ABC rules now. There was no talk about ABC rules last year. There was no talk about ABC rules 2 years ago, as much we are talking about now. It is very important for people to know Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. It is important for people to know ABC rules. Even euthanasia, which has been spoken about through this order, has to be done as per the act and rules. No authority, no agency, no officer from the department can, at his whims and fancy, just pick up a dog and say that I don't like this dog or this has to be euthanized. It has to be done as per the act. It has to be verified.
What about the other aspects?
Opinion
You know, the other aspects of the order as well, Kamna Pandey, on, you know, on shelters, on adoption programs, you know, should all of that also be fast tracked now?
Absolutely. Uday, there are just two brief points I would like to address because they're important. As far as the NHI dog removal is there, very brilliantly put by the honorable judges. They've said that the NHI has to identify, it's not a blanket removal, they have to identify the accident prone zones, and from there they have to remove, which is a very, very, like Webb have said, it's a very welcome step. The other thing about rabid and the euthanasia part, see, the court line is that within the framework of PCA Act, they may euthanize rabid dogs, incurably ill, mortally wounded. Now, provided it is whatever is permissible by law. Euthanasia of rabid dogs is not permissible by law for the same reason that Punita said. It is ante-mortem, identifying a dog to be rabid is just not possible. So it's only possible post-mortem. So you just isolate. That is what the law says. The court, so the word of the Supreme Court is law. But here the Supreme Court has categorically, time and time, line after line, emphasized that whatever is said in the PCA Act, whatever is permissible under the ABC rules as per AWBI protocols. Now, as for the aggressive dogs or the dangerous dogs, the AWBI SOP, which deals with aggressive dogs, is very categorical. I'll tell that it's very simple. Complaint comes, municipality has to inform the agency which is implementing ABC. They have to go and physically verify the bite. They have to find out the reason, probable reasons of the bite, find out whether this dog has a history of biting, verify it, not just opinion or a hater can simply say. They will verify it. If they feel that yes, there is substantial threat, they will bring the dog to the ABC center, keep for 7 days. And in these 7 days, they will evaluate under the monitoring committee whether the dog is a habitual biter. If it is not, release it back. If it is, for 2 to 3 weeks, they will keep it there.
Now also
monthly, necessary to file your report.
Yeah.
So I think it's a beautiful.
Okay. Now also the public places definition. Punita Sharma, will this extend to colonies, to residential areas as well? Will this just be on schools, offices, highways, or will this extend to cover residential areas, colonies as well? Punita Sharma. Okay, I think we've lost Punita Sharma. Dr. Dipankar Seth, Now, the public areas definition also has been clearly mentioned. What is that?
See, there is an SOP for that. AWBI has categorically mentioned in the SOP. If you see the previous judgment, the court has mentioned that hospitals, schools, and places, which is not only restricted to that places, but it can be added on. Public places can be added on, but it should be public places. It doesn't mean that colonies, all that should be dog free like this, but it should the competent authority may add schools, religious places like this, but it should be a public place in true sense of the term. And one more thing I would like to add, the positive. I think all the four panelists have agreed that this is a good to decent order, very good order. In fact, it is this order makes it compulsion for all the hospitals to have anti-rabies vaccination. So this is one more important part which I love to add. And regarding that rabid dog, see, there is if nobody misuses this term, so there is nothing harm in that. So only if somebody misinterprets, like if some dog is biting, that doesn't mean it is rabid. I also second the view, being a technical person. Rabid dog critically means when the dog is infected by a rabies virus. Simple definition is this. It doesn't mean that it will be biting. There is a lot of people don't know that there is a down form of rabies. That means the dog becomes silent or mute. So there is a two form of rabies. One is the aggressive form, where they bark, bite, salivations, and one other form where the dog becomes dumb and mute. So rabid dog typically means that when the dog is infected with rabies virus only.
All right. Okay. Well, we've run out of time. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion. We're going to slip into a very short break. Back on the other side with lots more. Don't go anywhere.